have a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to go over the petition that I have a little bit. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, and not in any detail, but just kind of generally what I'm talking about with my mega petition of 27 parts. This is the PowerPoint slide. You're going to the next slide, please. So this is, go ahead and go to the next. We already know Kelp became.
Next slide, please.
Yeah. Can you speak up so that he can hear you at the other end?
Yeah. So what I'm proposing for my petitions to kind of sort them out a little bit is put them in order of kind of by urgency, which is really not a category for the petitions, is which ones need to be done sooner than later. Like, whether you make SMCA the color, it really doesn't have any urgency to it. But in terms of the environment and restoring kelp, there's an urgency to certain things. And what I've gone through my petition and sorted out by priority A, B, or C with a year between each one of when we'd like to do that. Priority A are the things that are going into these marine protected areas and calling urchins. And that could be done by the rulemaking calendar, like we've done before. Go to the next slide. So these are the things that are priority A that are within that petition. The sorting of it by petition number was done a long time ago. So these are your sorting of the 27 parts to petition 2023-23. The priority A things are to go and allow unlimited calling within the 3 state marine conservation areas, and Ricketts, Pacific Grove Gardens, and Carmel Bay. And we also have this other petition, which is and you could probably delete it if it's okay to call a buoy fishing year. You really don't need to have that line in the petition. We did at Tankers Reef, we just call our buoys fishing year. That's how that works. Next slide. And the reason why I think it's not really a policy change, or why it could be done sooner than later, is because of what we were saying earlier, is that restoration is an allowable activity within a state marine conservation area. What is restoration? I think is the bigger question.
I don't think that was the meaning of restoration in this context, but okay.
Okay, well,
it was mainly of constructing structures, right?
Well, I think this is, restoration as defined.
The broader.
Yeah, that's all. Can be all sorts of shapes, colors, and flavors.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think when AB 63 came across, it was mostly concerned about all these state marine conservation areas that didn't have any protection from if we had a disaster of an oil spill,
right,
or something like that happened down in Orange County. Right. That was the impetus of getting it through the legislature. But that's my take. It's my argument.
I hear you.
Okay. Next slide, please. So these are things I would consider the B priority, which are things that are allowing other activities within state marine conservation, like spore dispersal, pruning, and things like that. And this is the same MPAs. Go to the next slide. These are more priority B things. Another state marine conservation area, and also state marine reserve, the Point Loma State Marine Reserve, which has really suffered through a lot of kelp loss in that area, and establishing a new state marine conservation area, state marine reserve at Tankers Reef. Next slide. And like I said, state marine reserve also has the restoration built language built there as well. It was there first and it didn't have to be added. Next slide, please.
On the words we forgot.
Right. Yeah, it was mistakes were made. And this is more things with to do with item B. And some of these things are not about particular MPAs, they're kind of general in nature, like creating a kelp restoration management permit program within the scientific collective portal. That's one of the big ones there. And allowing for commercial efforts within participate too. So this could be take your time. That can happen next year, right?
Okay, we can get it. So and we have the copy of this presentation, obviously, right? So
yeah, okay. And I keep it as an Excel spreadsheet too, so it's all in there.
So I think we get the idea. I mean,
yeah, and item C. Just the next slide, and that'll close this out. Good. And no more slides after that.
Next slide. Next slide. You have to speak up.
Next slide.
People can't hear you.
Yeah, so this is stuff, everything that has to do with outplanting kelp is a long lead. It's confusing. I don't know what kind of kelp it could be. So that's an item C.
Okay, so, okay, super. Great. And these guys taking considerations they build up. Great.